we are at Cooper MMA. I'm Mark Gilston. This is my friend Brandon. I've done a lot of videos where I've choked Brandon, so I'm going to give him the opportunity for revenge. What I wanted to discuss this afternoon are defenses against chokes. And there are a lot of different chokes, so there's a lot of different defenses. Now there's a whole series of mounted chokes. The cross collar chokes are the most basic and the ones you're going to see most often when you're mounted. Now note that if he's in my guard and tries to choke me, it's very easy for me to break his balance. He comes in for the choke, and I have created space and broken his balance, and his head is below mine. So the whole concept that he thinks he can choke me from inside the guard, unless he's at least 6 inches taller and twice as strong, is pretty preposterous. So anytime somebody comes in and tries to choke you from inside your legs, you break their balance. The same thing for that, again, in a self-defense situation, somebody throws you down and starts strangling you. You can do all sorts of stuff, but if their hands are strong, you may have a problem here. So you can go ahead and choke me. That is going to stop it. Notice that once that happens, the arms are straight, and now you can attack. In a real life situation, I would bring my head across and probably break his arm. All right, so let's go back to the mat. Now, we talked about this from before, that when he's coming in for these chokes, I want to hook that hand like so and try and make it really difficult for him to get in. I can push away here, I can push here, and I can come underneath and curl his wrist and go that way. So those are the basic blocking techniques. And you want to try and do that before he even establishes that inside collar. Same thing when he actually, if he's assuming he actually gets there, here, again, notice that I'm breaking his balance and bringing his head above mine. So the same principles apply. If I can avoid letting him get in the first place, then I don't have to worry about the choke. But if he's mounted, it's much, much harder for me to break his balance backwards. So he comes in for that cross collar. I want to break his balance sideways. This is where that weave comes in. So over the lower arm, under the upper arm. It doesn't take much to break his balance. I can finish just with the other arm. And of course, once I've started that, I'm going to continue hitting and establishing some kind of real control. If you'll notice when Brandon comes in for the cross collar choke, this arm is always coming underneath. That's very important. If he tries to come in over the top, I can always tuck my chin and just push his arm away. Even if he has my arms pinned, still, if he comes over the top, I tuck and I can move him out of the way. But if my arms are pinned and he comes in from the bottom, I have a problem, because I cannot prevent it and I cannot weave. So here, breaking balance becomes critically important. So I'm going to knee him in the butt and then flip over as fast as can. I want to flip over into the choke, not away from it, so. And now I can start fighting. It's a little bit ironic, but most of the time you want to turn into a choke, not away from the choke. When you turn away from the choke, you have a tendency to get caught and choked more. All right, so once again, he's coming in. First thing I try is a weave. If for whatever reason I can't weave, kick and turn. So the cross collar chokes are done, he is high, they're done from quite a distance. More dangerous and more effective, I think, are chokes where he's in really tight, where he's trying to avoid distance. So he can try and do a cross collar. You'll note that when high-level practitioners do a cross collar, they bring their head all the way to the mat, right? They still need to have that hand. Yeah. Okay, so he comes in, his elbows go down, and he goes all the way to the mat, and the choke comes up really fast. But once again, I push forward, and once I'm here, he can still choke me. So I can't stop. I have to bring his head below my head. So it's not a question of flipping them, because you can finish somebody even if you flip them, but then you want to get your head above their head. So he's in. Now the choke. Go forward and forward. Okay, that is what most people miss about when you reverse those kinds of chokes. All right, so the Ezekiel, the sleeve wheel choke, another very, very common choke from this position. Same principles apply. So he is reaching around. He's going to grab his sleeve with this hand, and then this hand comes across like a blade, and his elbow comes down, and if I don't do anything, I'm in big trouble. All right, weave obviously doesn't work here. No sleeve to grab, so I have to have another strategy. Once again, I'm a little more effective if I can get on top. I have a little more room. I can start to create space. Creating space is the most important thing here, and then getting my head above his. So as he comes in for the choke, don't worry about that yet. Worry about this and that. If I concentrate on fighting his arms, I'm going to get strangled. He comes in, I take his body, I move him up, away, creating space. Turn in, get my head elevated. Okay. Some people like doing the pillow choke from a mounted position. This is a particularly difficult choke to deal with. It's not so easy for him to get the best leverage, though, up here. So I generally don't worry too much about this. If he starts to get out, though, and moves to that side, I get worried. Now I'm in trouble. So let's go back. So I still don't want to stay here. Maybe he will eventually get this choke. To defend, creating space, again, is the critical key. So my hands come together, and I bring my elbow in. Now here, this is great for me, but if he's really strong pushing against my shoulder, that's not so easy to do. But even this little amount of space has totally relieved the choke. So now I can go after his leg and roll him. Once again, I don't want to roll this way. because now he'll choke me, and it's worse from here because he can take my legs and push them back. And now I'm in big trouble. So when I roll, I stop when I can get my power on his leg. So relieve the pressure, try and lock up the leg. It's a bridge and roll to the side, a little bit to the corner, not that way, but that way. But here I stop. All my weight is now on his thigh, and he's basically stuck here. All right, now I can take control of the choking arm, turn onto my stomach, and now it's my game. Forward, arm bar. So he's smarter this time, or he came in from Keisagatami or something, but he's off to the side. Here. Now I did an entire video on escaping from this position, but again, this is critical. Depending upon if his leg is down, I will check to see where his legs are. If the legs are below, I'm going to turn towards him and catch that leg. If he's a judoka, he's got his knee in my hip, his other leg is out in front. This is much harder to escape from. Okay, but I want to keep that pressure so I don't get choked. From here, I'm going to lever my hips up and try and go over my head backwards. And then once again, I finish with the arm bar. But that, once again, is breaking balance. So he's come in, create space, break balance. Even if I don't get over, the choke is completely gone, and now it's anybody's fight. All right? If I give it a little bit of a resource, by building up a little momentum, much easier to get to where I want to be. All right, so there's an introduction with a number of very common chokes, showing you how these principles apply. In the next video, we'll go into more specifics, a whole bunch of more chokes. I hadn't realized how much this topic was going to be, so I may end up doing 3 or even 4 videos on this subject. If you like the video, please click like and subscribe to our channel, Seryoku Zenyo. That means maximum efficiency. If you click on the bell, you can get the videos as soon as they are posted. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you.